So, I don't know about you guys, but I am sick and tired of my friends and classmates wanting to use Discord as a way to communicate with one another. In case you didn't know, although most of you probably do, Discord is a service that provides servers, not physical servers, but virtual servers, as a way to chat with one another, to voice chats, video chats, so on and so forth. But the problem with it is that A, it's proprietary, B, it's owned by China, and C, it's not really all that secure. There are a bunch of vulnerabilities found in it, which makes me question its security. But don't worry, because ladies and gentlemen, I have something to present to you that is far better than Discord. I'm of course talking about Matrix, and today I'm going to go over with you what it is and how it works. Let's get started. So to get started with using Element, just search for Element in whatever search engine you use. I prefer DuckDuckGo for privacy, but to each his own. Then just click on the element.io link, and then from here you'll see a bunch of information about the different sort of products they provide. So there's personal, communities, enterprise, various services that they have, different resources to get information about it. And for the record, yes, they are open source. So if you click on here, you can see the web version and the various app versions. You can click on them and see the source code for how they work to ensure that they are indeed open source. But to get started with the element that I'm talking about, click on personal and then click on element, and then from here you'll get a link on all the different information about it. You can read this yourself if you want. Today, I'm just kind of going over with you how to get it started and how to actually use it. So to do that, hit get started and then launch Element Web. If you want, you can download it for macOS, Android, Windows, and Linux. Today, I'm going to show you the web version because that's the most accessible, because everybody has a web browser, but just know that there are versions that you can download on your computer instead. So once it loads up, you will be greeted with a Welcome to Elements message. You can choose to sign in, create an account, or explore various rooms. Rooms are essentially Discord servers, but they call them rooms in this case. And it's a way to be able to communicate with other people, chat with them, video chat with them, whatever. So if I search for Linux, a few things will pop up. You have Manjaro, Arch Linux, Fedora, a bunch of other different, Kali Linux is one of them. If I wanted to search Git, I think a few things would pop up. No, maybe GitHub. Actually, I haven't searched for GitHub before. Nope, there's no GitHub room, but it's okay, because if you wanted to create one, you can, and I'll show you how to do that later. There's one for NeoVim. Then if you search through, so Techlore is a content creator on the platform. He used to maintain this. He doesn't anymore, as far as I understand. So I'm not sure why this is still here. But regardless, that's essentially how Room works. So Room works like a Discord server. So to get started, we're going to go ahead and create an account. Now, first thing you're going to see is matrix.org. This basically means where is your Element client going to be hosted on. By default, it's matrix.org, but if you want, you can use your own server. So if you have one that you've created on like a Raspberry Pi or some other sort of virtual machine, you can connect to that instead for even more privacy. And if you want to know how to make one, just click on About Home Servers, and it should run you through how to actually build it. So far it's looking like more or less of a Q&A. I might make a video in the future on how to actually build one yourself, but for now we're just going to use the default matrix.org and then create an account from there. So moving on, you'll see that you have multiple options as a way to create an account. You can continue with an existing account like with GitHub, Google, GitLab, Facebook, or Apple, but today we're going to just create a new account from scratch without using an existing one in any way. So we're going to get started by just creating an account from scratch. So I'm going to create my username. Then we're going to create a secure and strong complicated password. For an email, I'm just going to use a burner address. I'm going to walk you through this in another future video, but for now I will just write this out as I need to. Nope. YT video. There we go. Okay. Then once you're done, you click register. It doesn't like the password. Okay, so let's change that out a little bit. Okay, I keep trying to create an easy password for this because it's just for testing purposes, but it's literally not letting me. So this is the great thing about Element, that you know, the security of it is really strong. It doesn't let you just create easy guessable passwords. You have to actually put some effort into it. So what I'm going to do here is grab a randomly generated password and throw it into there. So give me just one sec. Okay, so I've got my stronger complicated password fill in. So we're going to register with an account and let it go through and up. So reCAPTCHA pops up here. Terms and conditions, accept. You can go through and read them if you want. I trust it. And then from here, you just go to whatever email address you have to verify the account. So I'm going to do that real quick and I'll be right back. So I went through and verified the email, and now we can go in and log into the new account. So we're just going to put on our username and then the password. Let me grab that real quick. Hold on one sec. Okay, so we got in our password and then we sign in and we should be greeted with Elements. And here we are with Element. Dismiss desktop notifications, dismiss that too. So this is, and I'm going to full screen it here to make it look a little bigger. This is Elements. Now you'll notice it's somewhat similar to Discord, although at the same time a little bit different. So how this works is, before you get started, I'm going to walk you through the various settings you can have within Elements. So you can go through and change your password if you want. You can add a phone number if you wanted, but if you, as you saw, you didn't require one to sign up with. You can just use an email if you wanted instead. You can go in and deactivate the account if you want, which I'm going to do at the end of this video, but for now we're going to keep this just for demonstration purposes. You can change the appearance, so if you wanted to do it tries to match your system theme, but if you want, you can choose dark theme, light theme, or what have you, but in this case, I'm going to let it match my system theme. And you can change the font size, so I'm going to make it a little bit bigger for you guys, but actually really bigger, so that you can see it as easily as humanly possible. Then you can do image size in the timeline, so when you go and create messages, by default images are really small, but you can make them larger if you want. Notifications, so what's really nice is you can go in and highly customize the type of notifications that you get. So if you want mentions to be on, if you want certain keywords, you can define what keywords, you can have them off. You can do notifications via email, you can do notifications via the desktop, although I have that off. You can just disable them outright altogether, so you just turn them all off. Then you have various preferences, so shortcuts to recently viewed rooms. I'll show you what that looks like in a minute, but it's a way to quickly access the rooms without having to search for them. You can use various keyboard shortcuts if you want. Some of this other stuff is more tech-based, so enable automatic language detection for syntax highlighting. So if you're doing something with code blocks, you can have that. Then timeline, you can enable certain settings for that. Voice and video, like I mentioned before, there is options to do a voice and video chat, though you do have to request media permissions in order to do it. So by default, it doesn't just let you have video and voice chats. You have to enable permissions to do so first. Again, kind of a security first method. And then here is where you handle all the extra security and privacy settings. So you can do a secure backup, which I would recommend doing. You hit setup and then you go through and it generates a security key for your account. So if you lose access to it, you can get it back later. You can say continue. This would be the security key for it. You can download it or copy it and then you continue. And then it sets up private and public keys for you. And then now I have access to my account if I were to lose access to it. But again, I'm going to just delete it after this video, so that doesn't really matter all that much. You can enable encryption for various rooms, and I'll show you that in a minute, but do keep in mind that it is permanent. You can't just undo it. And that's pretty much it for the settings that I wanted to show you. Now let's get into the meat and potatoes of this whole system, which is the rooms. So if you see this little Safari icon, click on this, and this lets you explore all the public rooms that are available. So if we search for Arch, we're going to click enter, and then we can see here that we have an Arch Linux room. So we're going to join that one. And it takes it, I noticed that it's a bit slower in the Discord, so it does take a few seconds to load everything up. But once it gets loaded, it's pretty quick and easy to jump back in. So here we are in the Arch room. You can see we have a code block example here. We have some people asking things. Let's say if we, here's an image, so you can click on it and view it in full screen if you want. The various links that you can click onto. And it shows you kind of a preview of what the link is. So if this was like a scam and this was an actual hate speed website, whatever that is, it would show something else. So again, a nice little extra security feature. Let's go in and let's find another one. Let's do NeoVim. Okay, so we're going to join the NeoVim chat room. Again, it does take a few seconds, but it actually loads up faster. And here we go. So we have more links, we have more code blocks, I don't know if we have any more images in this one. No, we do not. But you kind of get the idea, right? You have this big chat, you can send and receive messages. So, hello everybody. And then I can join in like that. If I wanted to attach something to it, I can upload a file here. So if I wanted to include, I don't know, let's see, Starship, I can open that up, Starship prompt, upload, and then it will upload the image, and then there we go. It's right there. I'm sure the community is going to be very confused about that, but whatever. You can enable emojis if you wanted to, so you can, click on a bunch of different ones, and then, click send message, and then there are all the various emojis. I'm sure I'm going to get kicked from this room. You have stickers. So sticker packs, they are essentially a way for you to be able to do more with the chat. So you would have to go through here, you add, and then you accept what's called the integration manager, which allows you to add various other things like mods and stickers for when you're creating your own room or interacting with someone else's. So sticker packs, you see we have a few different options. There aren't that many, so we're just going to add KDE for an example, and then exit out. And then right down here we see a bunch of different options pop up. So there we go. You click on it and then it just shows up. Now if you wanted to do a voice chat, you can do a voice message. Now, it can't access my microphone because I haven't given it permission, but if I did, I would just hit that microphone and I can send a voice message to these people and really kind of piss them off. I think somebody actually, someone reacted to that. I'm surprised I haven't been kicked yet, but hey, whatever. So that is that. Now, if I wanted to start a voice call, I could do, click that right here. Again, I would need to enable permissions, but that's how I would do that. You can do video chat. You can search within this room. So if I wanted to say search for set, all right, and I hit set, every single instance in the chat of somebody saying set should pop up. Now it is taking a few minutes here because it's searching recursively through everything, but once it comes up, we should see results. There we go. So it shows sets. It even shows, I think, even in some, not in code blocks, but in every instance of set. So if you're looking for something specifically to get help for, you can search for it, and then you can also search in all rooms. So in this and Arch Linux, it will search for set. Now this is going to take a lot longer, but it will show every instance. Okay, so here we see we have room Arch Linux, so it tells you where it's coming from. If we scroll up, it shows, okay, this is from NeoVim, here's from Arch, and then here is from NeoVim again. If we scroll back up more, it'll probably show other things, but it's neatly organized so you can easily tell where this is actually coming from. So there's from Neovim again, here's from Arch Linux. You get the idea. So now I'm going to show you how to go through and actually create a room yourself. So what you do is you go in here and you do under rooms, you click add room, create a new room, and then you can create one. So we're going to call one called FOSS King. Topic optional. This is just essentially the description you're giving for it. You don't want to put too much in here. So this is a test. Now you have two different room options. You have private room, which is only invite only, or public room so that anybody can join in. You'll notice that with the private room, you can enable end-to-end encryption. You can't disable it later, but you can enable it now. You notice that bridges and most spots won't work. They're working on that a little bit, but essentially the way you do this is you can go in and you can block anybody not part of matrix.org from ever joining this room. You'll notice when we first signed up with Element, you had the option of connecting to matrix.org, the main server, to use the Element service, or create your own host name. If you wanted to ensure that you're not using someone else, letting someone come in that's using their own server, potentially with malicious intent, you can enable this option to make it a little bit more secure. But I think it's fine because that might discourage someone from creating their own server, which is kind of the whole point of Element. It's your thing, you do what you want with it. So I would say, hey, disable that, but if you wanted to enable it, it's there. For now though, we're going to do a public room. And here in room address, what you do is you set a room address. How you use that is we're going to create the room, and I'll show you. Create the room. There we go. So that room address, if we go into info and you see the room address right here, if we copy that and then go in to do explore public rooms and then search, it will automatically come up within here, so that all you have to do is search for public rooms, put in that whole address, and then there you go. And then view it. In this case, we can't join it because I'm the one that created it, but there you have it. So now let's walk through all the various settings that you can do for your room. So you click on the I right here, and then you go over into room settings, and here you can set all the various things that you want. So you can change the address if you wanted to. You can have it not specified if you wanted to keep it private. And that's it. If you wanted to change the address, you can, but I'm just going to leave it there as is. You have URL previews, so you can enable URL previews. Now what I would do in this case is enable this, which by default for participants in this room, so it doesn't just apply to you, it applies to everybody. That's that additional security feature. Like I said, if somebody was trying to share a link and it was some scam of some kind, you could easily see that. You can then also enable security and privacy, so you can change it later if you wanted to change this over to a private room or a public room. Space members, this is their kind of premium service, so we're going to just kind of ignore that for right now. You can change who can read the history, so that's anybody. They can just go in the room and see everything. Members only, since selecting this option, which means from this point forward. Members only since they were invited, or members only since they joined. Then you have roles and permissions. So what this does is allow you to select who can do what. So who can send a message? Well, pretty much anybody. Who can invite users, a moderator, which includes yourself, change settings, kick users, ban users, so on and so forth, enable room encryption, change history visibility, so on and so forth. And you can change this. So like, let's say I don't want my moderator being able to change the room avatar. Well, I can change that to admin, so that only I can change it. You can do a custom level if you wanted to. Now this, I'm actually not quite sure how that works, so I'm going to ignore that for right now. Yeah, I know an error occurred, but we're just gonna ignore it. You can change notifications for just this room. So like, let's say you wanted all messages for this room in just this room, but then for another room you only wanted mentions on, or you wanted notifications off entirely. You can change that on a room-to-room basis, and I'll show you how to do that in a moment. And then you have advanced settings, which again, this is more or less for developers, but you do have the options of changing these things. Again, unlike in Discord where it's what you see is what you get, here you can go in and really customize things and make it the exact way you want to. Okay, and really quickly, I did want to go back to, let's say, the Arch Linux room, go into room settings, and there are only certain things you can change here, because obviously you are not a member of this, you're not a moderator, you're not an admin, you can only change certain things, but one of them is notifications. So you can have this set to default, you can have it set to off if you want, but then on for certain rooms, and so on and so forth, and it saves automatically, so you just select it, exit out, and now it's remember that setting. So that was Elements, a free and open source alternative to Discord. I really think it's a phenomenal service that more people should use, and I encourage you to get your friends and classmates to try to use it too. I'm going to do the same and see if I can get something started with it. Probably not, but hey, it's worth a chance, because free and open source software is usually better than proprietary. And by that I mean sometimes proprietary software can work better through free and open source, but in terms of philosophy, FOSS wins every time. So that's pretty much it. If you liked the video, click the like button, and if you really liked it and you want to support the channel, go ahead and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day. See ya.